What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. You know who it is by now.
Timothy.
Now, ladies and gents, I thought I would do somewhat of a different video today, and I wanted to talk about hand traps. Now, before I start and give my opinion, make sure you get at me in that comment section below with your overall thoughts and opinions on hand traps. Now, at the moment, going second is just a crazy way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because the game's played at such a ferocious pace. If you're not maining 9 to sometimes 12, even 15 hand traps, you're at a significant disadvantage, which I think is just absolutely crazy for a card game that bases its mechanic on interacting with your opponent's cards. Now, if you do not main hand traps, you're at a significant disadvantage, as I mentioned, but it's almost unplayable because the boards that are being made at the moment are just some crazy 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 negate boards that just basically don't allow you to play. And hand traps kind of like mitigate that. However, it kind of breaks the mechanic of the game and makes trap cards obsolete. For example, the only trap cards that are really seen play are ones that actually circumvent the trap mechanic, so to speak, which breaks the game basically. So Infinite Impermanence, which is a trap card which you can play from your hand, which does not need to be set, is basically one of the most played trap cards in the game, as well as cards like Evenly Matched and even Red Reboot to a lesser degree when it was actually at 3. Now, my feeling on this is it's kind of frustrating being able to try and mess about with just a range of different decks without having to slot in 9 to 15 hand traps. I've been playing quite a few rogue decks lately, and I've been messing around on EDO Pro as well as a Dueling Book, and the common denominator which kind of just shuts me down or just cripples me is hand traps, whether it be Infinite Impermanence or your Ash Blossoms or your Effect Failures, anything to that degree kind of just shuts down your play. Now, I know rogue decks or rogue strategies have linear lines of play, but it's the fact that hand traps exist and can cripple your opponent to the point where it kind of ends their turn. Nibiru being a prime example of that. For a rogue strategy, getting hit with a Nibiru just absolutely, it can lose you the game basically. And it just kind of circumvents the use of traps. Because traps are so slow and the game is so fast, trap cards are just falling more and more out of favor, which I think is a little bit, it's not good for the game, especially as there's at least 1/3 of the game mechanic which is just largely being ignored, apart from a few outliers, mainly because of the nature of the mechanic. It's just too slow basically. Now, at the moment, I think hand traps are a necessary evil, but I do think that they need to be kind of toned down, or the power ceiling of some of the decks that are out there at the moment need to be toned down, where you don't need to main 12 to 15 hand traps in order to just to be able to play the game. Now, I am talking from a meta competitive stance. Obviously, if you're messing around with a casual deck, or you've got 2 decks of similar power, you don't necessarily need hand traps to be able to play interactively or even efficiently for that matter. But if you're definitely coming up against the meta, it is a big issue, a major issue. I think it was Ryan Yu who won, I think it was the LCS Invitational. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he was playing Sky Strikers and he was actually maining like 12 or 15 hand traps, if that. And I just think that's crazy. That's 15 spaces out of a deck, or out of a deck that you've built dedicated to just interacting with your opponent to stop them from building a board in which allows you to play basically. It's just my thoughts on it and just my opinions on it. I do think something needs to be addressed in terms of just the pace of the game and just the necessity for hand traps, because going second is rough right now. Whether you're a combo player, whether you're a control player, whether you're even a mid-range player or even an OTK player, going second is difficult, especially with the way that boards are being built at the moment and the ability to just spit out 4, 5, 6 and 7 negates. It's just a bit of a problem. But anyway, ladies and gents, that is just my thoughts on it. I know it's a little bit rambly, but it's just kind of a thought that I had. But what do you think? Do you think hand traps are a necessary evil? Do you think they need to be toned down? Do you think they're completely fine the way they are? If so, let me know in that comment section below. And as always, if you did enjoy this content, be sure to like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I will definitely see you guys on the next video. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.